welcome back. I didn't feel like we took a break. We were still talking the whole time anyway. So
we were on a break.
I don't know.
I guess
I'm
the
told.
camera's on break.
Let's talk about some of the mission work that you've done. What are some of the places that you've gone to? You mentioned earlier.
Well, of course, locally you've got like 3 Square. There's the New Year's Eve. There's the Christmas dinners that you hand out and stuff like that. So locally is and being involved in their churches and things like that to go and help them do some mission work in the community. My best trip is when I went down to Tecate, Mexico, and it was just such an eye-opening experience. I spent a week down there with a friend of mine, Todd Wellman. He's really good. Like, he was a good guy. I needed him in my life at the time and stuff like that. Still a friend, of course, but now I'm on the opposite side of town of him. He's busy doing his thing, and I'm expanding the kingdom on my side of town. But we went down to Tecate, Mexico on a fact-finding mission to a compound is what it really was, and it's called Rancho de sus Niños, and they have their church there, they have their education facility there, they have rooms. It's a 2-story place that has rooms for international students, and then there's like houses set up all around in a large circle, and in the center of where the houses are, there is a dining facility. And so, like, you work there, you stay there, you pray there, you go to school there, and they educate all the way up through high school, and then they do some theology studies and stuff like that. But what's really cool about this community is they build all the structures themselves. Like, they get together, and like, literally it takes a village. Like, they all pitch in and help out. They lay the concrete, they lay the plumbing. They have a water filtration system that they built themselves. They have all of their own vehicles. They have buses. They actually literally get up at like 04, get all the buses ready, drive into the local towns, children from around the village, and bring them back. They feed them breakfast, and then they take them to school right there. So it's all done in one location. So they have breakfast, lunch, and dinner there, and then the kids get back on the bus, and they bus them back. Now, there are some that stay on the compound, like I said, but the others are out in the community. And then they do work out in the community as well. Like, they don't have a sanitation department out there like we do out here. We're kind of spoiled. Take your thing to the curb, and you're done. You're like, whew, gosh, take out the trash. That was so much. Well, out there, I mean, every house, when you're driving through the city, they have like these 55-gallon plastic drums, and that's where they throw all the trash. I mean, food, diapers, it doesn't matter. It all goes into one drum. But the thing is they don't have a service that comes around and picks it up. So we got together in the vehicles that they have there, and we go around out in town and empty everybody's trash cans. Now, some of them, it's been weeks before someone come over and help them. But I mean, it's like, who cares? We're there to help you. We're knocking on doors. Can we pray for you for anything? Can we talk to you? Do you need some waters? And you're walking through these villages, and you're just like, it's just such an amazing experience. But this total compound concept that they have there was just phenomenal. I mean, I fell in love with the place. I wanted to stay there longer. It was so much fun. I was, when I got home, I told my kids, it's like, they have summer programs there. We're going to take you there this summer, and we're going to do this, we're going to do that. And of course, and then I had some medical issues, so I couldn't travel back there again. But it just blows your mind when you do work like that, because they are so close to the Spirit, because they don't have the worldly distractions that we do. I mean, they are not in this world with who's on TV and what's going on with this show and what's the newest movie release. They're like, where am I getting my food from? And when you see that, and when you live that, and you have just there's so much faith in the community that just comes together and works with everybody. It's so awe-inspiring. I mean, and I've been to Kuwait, I've been to Iraq, and I've been to other places over there, which is a little different as far as the culture goes. But down in Mexico, there in Tecate, I mean, it was like, I felt at home. And it's weird for you to say that, but it was just filled with so much love and spirit and generosity. Like, no one's there like making fun of each other or trying to outdo one another. It was the love of Christ just filled in that place. And you're talking about at least 150 people on this campus on a daily basis. That 3 buses going back and forth every day, and it was just, you're speechless and humbled and overjoyed all at the same time. I mean, even with my injuries, they had to do some stuff on the walls. They were like painting the walls, and they had to put the sealant over it.
And so Todd's working like a beast doing all this stuff because he's done construction before, and I did construction when I was younger, but it's like, now I'm like an old guy. But I mean, I was, doing what I can to help scrape and do some of that stuff, and it was just like, you're building something that's helping a community, and it's not like you're just doling out the money to pay for the supplies. Like, you are sweating and crying and working side by side with these people, and missionaries come from all over the world to come to this place. And it's just amazing. And they were getting ready because they were going to open up another one, I think in like Poland or something like that. And it was just, they showed us slides and the pictures of this little village that they were going to help out, and it was like, I get chills talking. I'm like filled with chills right now because you just remember that feeling of the Spirit coming over you, and it's just, that by far was the best trip in my life.
And these places are real. I mean,
it's like,
wait a minute, people unified, working together for one accord.
Yeah, from all different cultures and backgrounds, and no one's like saying anything. Like,
it's tough because of what we're taught here, and because of the distractions. You said it best. It's one of my issues with entertainment. It's misdirection, taking your mind off of what's actually going on. That's why people are like, well, how did this happen?
Which true, right, and good.
Yeah.
I think I read that somewhere.
I'm sure. And a lot of times people get offended because like, well, I deserve to relax. I say you don't relax, but then when you see what's happening around you. That's the thing, is that we have issues that are, and among believers, I know there's been things that put on people's hearts, homelessness, human trafficking, all these different things. People are like, wow, it's sure getting bad. I go, no, it's been bad. It's getting worse. My question is, why haven't you seen it?
Right.
And then you'll start to see what entertainment is.
Yeah.
It's to take your mind off. It's like in Rome. Give them bread and circuses.
Yeah.
And so what happens is, I tell people, go get involved. I go, burying your head in the sand is not going to make stuff go away. It's going to make the consequences of that come back and snack you. And that's what people are missing out on, that we're in a very different time now.
Absolutely.
And we all have abilities. God didn't put us here to set a paradise. We're here to help others. And so, right?
Yeah, where paradise is, right?
Yeah. It's not here.
Treasures in heaven.
Right? And so with people, when they realize, because the world's told them, you either have to do everything or nothing.
Yeah.
And it's like, no, you can do something that makes a huge impact. Because you've seen it, even like, wow, I talked to one person and saved the marriage because of what he's...
Exactly. I mean, it's the little things. It's the little smiles. A lot of people talk about, it's just acts of kindness, and that's a good act to have, an act of kindness, a smile, holding a door open for someone, not because you don't think they could hold the door open, but you're just being courteous.
Yes.
Like, here, can I let me get that for you? Can I grab that? I see you're struggling there. Can I help you with this? Can I help you with that? Oh, I'm sorry. It's like, and not, there are people, unfortunately, in society that take advantage of people like that, but it's not about that, though. I mean, it's just smile and let someone have a good day, and the whole thing about being in faith and with Jesus is, it's not about you.
Absolutely.
It's not for you to be pharisaical and stand up there and go, look at all the good work I do in my community. Well, you just nullified all your good work.
Yeah.
Because it's not about you. It's about what Jesus does through you. And when people, when I talk to people and they're like, thank you so much, I was like, don't thank me, thank Jesus.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because if it wasn't for him, I wouldn't be here. And I call my papa. Whenever anything good happens, I give praise where it's due. I mean, and I'm just like, all glory to God. And I'll call up Papa and I'll be like, Papa, I got to tell you what happened today. Because, he struggles with pain too. And I'm like, if it wasn't for you, I wouldn't be here doing this. It's through Jesus, through you, that worked through me to help this guy right here. Look at the power of our Lord. And you have to give praise. And I'm just like, Papa, I'm getting chills again. I'm like, Papa, we did it again.
Yeah.
And so I got to update him. Guess what we did this week? And look what's coming on here. And this guy's doing this, or this girl's doing that. And I helped them with this. And because of Jesus, I was able to do that. Because of you, I was able to come to Jesus. Because you helped me.
Yeah.
And
it's humbling. Like, who am I to be used to do anything? I'm like that. I'm grateful.
I'm a conduit.
Yeah.
I'm a conduit. That's all I am. It's like.
And that's what people miss. They're thinking, look what I'm doing. I'm not doing anything.
I'm not doing
I go,
anything.
don't compliment me. I go, give all the glory to God, because I go,
Absolutely.
I just messed up. So the fact that we're being used,
Yeah.
it's mind blowing, because He doesn't need us. He loves us.
Exactly.
And so when you see, and you can actually see seeds grow, and you can see lives change.
Absolutely.
That's what that void is. That's missing. That this world says, you get another car, get another house, get more stuff. And that endorphin, that high, wears off, and they're like, "Oh, well, I'm still trying to fill that hole." And I go, "That you're not going to find that with stuff. You're going to find that with Christ,
right? And
that's who's making you whole."
Exactly.
I know I read that somewhere. Did you want to be whole? And so then life starts to make sense. We we have the truth in us.
Absolutely.
We have to be taught lies.
Yes.
And the thing is, it's literally pouring out the old wine.
Oh, yeah.
So the new wine can be poured in. The
Yeah.
more that you pour out the old, the new
Yeah.
will fill you up. But
Absolutely.
if you're keeping the old and the new, it's going to
It-
contradict, and it fights
yeah.
against it. And
Yeah.
so it can be scary, but it's exciting because to know it's like, wait a minute, you mean I don't know anything? Yes. Because all the stuff I thought I
don't have
know,
the answers. All right.
it was a mess. Because I think there's no greater thing than to realize it's like, well, this world's upside down. But wait a minute, I don't understand it. Good, show me.
Right,
And then you're like,
yeah.
well, now I have a whole different view of things.
Totally different perspective.
It changes everything.
Yes.
We were talking earlier about the level of faith that people have in different countries. And that's
yeah.
a huge thing, is that they actually see it because they are reliant on God.
Yeah.
And I mean for everything.
Yeah.
I don't
Yeah,
mean,
totally.
I think the biggest thing, especially with kids, I was down in Guatemala before the volcano, and you see that people are, and I've talked to a lot of people, in places where people have little to nothing,
Right.
they're happier than people that have a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
And people have such
Isn't
a
that
hard
amazing?
time getting, they go, I don't understand that, but I mean, you've seen it.
Yeah.
So I go, how do you explain that to where you see people walking around because they're focused on, I'm going to eat today. What am I
Right.
going to do? Because they're
They're
living in the
thankful
moment.
yeah, exactly. They're just thankful to wake up. They're thankful to be with, you know, it might be their family, it might be a husband, a wife, you know, a close member. It could even just be a friend. And they're like, look, we got to eat together today. We got to
Yes.
see the sunrise today. We got to see the sunset together. You know, there's food in our bellies and we're content.
Yeah.
And that's the problem, is a lot of us here are so of the world. We're only content with things.
Yeah.
We're defined by what we own. And honestly, we don't own anything except our own actions.
Yep.
And those aren't even owned too. Because guess what? That spiritual battle,
Yeah.
someone's fighting for you.
Yeah.
You know, everybody talks about, I got the devil on one shoulder and angel on one shoulder. I mean, people make jokes about that,
Yeah.
but that's really true. You know,
Yes.
there's all those old sayings like, you know, there's two dogs in me, and whichever one I feed the most, that's who I am.
It's called flesh and spirit.
Exactly.
That's what their names are, if you wanted to know that.
Flesh and spirit.
And that's why people have a
Yeah.
hard time hearing.
Yeah.
They're like, "Why can't I hear God's voice?" And I go,
You're
"Call
not
on
listening."
him."
Yeah.
But I go, He always answers. People are always surprised when I say, "Pray, ask, He answers."
Yeah.
I go, "It's not going to be in the way or the answer that you think."
Well,
Because
guess
He's
what?
Go on.
In the time.
Well, He sure teaches us patience.
Wow.
Because
God, I want to know this, and I want to know this now. He's like, okay. 12 years later, you're like, I got it.
Now there it goes. I mean, that's how you learn. When
Yeah.
someone says, "I need to learn patience," well, guess what?
Well, you got to
That's
do
how
what you
you
asked
get
for, because then when he
patience.
puts you through all those trials for years,
Yeah.
you're like, oh, not again, oh, not again,
It's
oh,
not
not again.
a
And you're like,
finger
thank you
snapping.
for the lesson,
Yeah,
Lord.
and you have patience.
Yeah.
It's you walk through it. We
Yes.
learn from experience on every level. That's when you actually walk away from something and go, "I got it."
Yep.
Because you have to walk through it. So you want patience? You're gonna wait for some stuff. and I mean, the world has created a sense where people want immediate answers.
Absolutely.
They think they're entitled to immediate answers.
Oh yeah,
God's not
It's
Google.
the instant gratification thing. You know, it's the Instagram, it's the Facebook. It's like, I'm going to put up a picture and see how many likes I get right now. Woohoo! Look at me, I'm such a stud. And
Yeah.
oh, all this and all this, and then you like these kids go to school and they're like, what do you mean I got to actually work at it? Oh, what,
Yeah.
I don't get a participation trophy for showing up.
Yeah.
Like, I want instant gratification, and unfortunately, our society is being pushed that way.
Yeah.
Where right now, how many likes, how many of this, do this, post this. My words are more important than your words, and it's like, no, the word
Yes.
is the most important word. So you want to put something out
Yeah.
and get a like by me? Why don't you put out the word?
Yeah.
Why don't you pop out an inspirational song that motivates people, puts a smile on their face, and puts some faith back into this?
Absolutely.
Let's start a faith book. I don't want a Facebook. I want a faith book.
I like that.
You like that?
Yeah.
Don't coin that phrase. That's my phrase. So
Hashtag Jesus Strong.
Hashtag
That's
Jesus
it.
Strong.
That
There you
person-
go.
You're gonna go, what? I started doing that. I gotta know Jesus Strong, because that's
Yeah.
the thing. That's our guide.
Oh my
that's
gosh,
the truth.
yeah. Oh.
And that's when people start seeing it. I go, too often, because we're meant to stand up. We're not meant to sit there and blend in. And that's the other
Right.
thing that we all have a purpose.
I can't blend it.
I can't. 2 years for that beard.
Unless I go to
we're not
Spalding, I
here.
think I might
Then
run
you-
it over
then you
there.
might. But we're meant to stand out, and
Yeah.
we can make a difference. And so we're not here to sit there and just accept stuff like, oh, I guess this is just how it is. Like, no, that's not how it is. Is that who is in us is greater than who is in the world. Now,
Exactly.
these are things when people start believing, not just saying it. It's very easy to say something. Well, I can do, but
Yeah.
do you believe it?
Right.
Because again, you could say you're a firefighter, it doesn't make you one.
Yeah.
It's how we live our life and as he's refining and burning the things of the world off of us,
exactly,
we truly start to walk into our identity.
Yeah, you got to shed those outer layers. You got to shed the sin skin, and
Yes.
you know, and when you're talking about it, it's us standing out. It's not like Jason standing out.
Yes.
It's Jason showing Jesus
Yes,
through this
the light of
shell.
Christ shining through.
Exactly. It's not all about me. I don't need props. It's not about me. It's about Jesus. I mean, there's times even my wife. I mean, everybody goes through the little
Yeah,
things. We
of
have,
course.
and she's like, "Why do you love me so much?" Yeah, Jesus. She's
Mm-hmm.
like, "But what do you mean?" I'm like, "I'm devoted to Jesus, and because I'm devoted to Jesus and what He says, this is how I can forgive you." Are you kidding? Do you have any bad things I've done in my life? And Jesus loves me and wrapped His arms around me and is forgiving me. Like, I would be such a hypocrite if I can't do that for you, because He's done so much for me. And there's a difference between forgiving and forgetting, because a lot of
Yes.
people get that confused. Like a lot of people, oh, you hate this person. I don't hate them.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I forgive them, you know, but there's a time where some people like that just can't be around you because of the negativity, you know? We're as wise as serpents and as harmless as doves.
Yeah.
Like, you have to be smart about who you bring around your inner circle.
Of course.
I mean, and you're allowed, and Jesus said, you know, how many times are you supposed to forgive?
70 times 7.
Right. But is that the end of it?
No.
Right. It's start again.
Because God's
It's
grace is
spiritual.
sufficient for this day. So each day,
Exactly.
everyone that, no matter what they've done, the fact that they woke up, they can be saved.
Exactly.
This is the thing that
That's
people
it.
miss.
That's
I
what
go,
yeah.
it's funny, when we mess up, we want the greatest understanding. When someone else messes up, we want the greatest punishment.
Exactly.
And it's so, if we reverse that, imagine the stuff that we've done and His grace. You see it and you go, wow, that grace and mercy. And so that helps me, because you don't understand. I go, no, you don't understand.
Exactly.
I go, what we hold against someone is held against us. This is a very basic principle, and it's funny because so many believers miss this concept.
It's the speck in your eye, you know, and I love that. I love that verse so much, because we're so quick to point out the faults in others, and it's like I'm screaming faults. I'm totally sinful, but it's not my heart to be sinful. Like, I'm really not trying to go out there and sin every day. I mean, I get knocked off, you know, track left and right, and it's like, whoa, I got to recenter. I forgive the people that have done harm against me, but again, it's, yes, you can forgive them, but that doesn't mean that you invite them back to do it again. You have to keep them at a distance and let them know, look, these are my parameters. You break that first barrier, guess what? I'm going to push you back again. I have layers. Ogres have layers. So there's layers that you allow people into your inner circle, and you can forgive them, and you can let them try again, and they start out from a distance, and then when they come back, okay, you got through my second barrier, come back, and whoop, nope, now you're getting into my Jesus zone. I can't have that anymore, because you are not going to distract me from my Lord and Savior.
And that's the thing, and it's not to be confused with the worldly teaching.
Exactly.
Forgive but don't forget.
Right.
Because when Jesus forgives us, right, through Him, God throws our sins in the sea of forgetfulness. See, I find that funny, forgetfulness.
Yes.
And then you're like, well, I can forgive this person, I'm not going to forget. I go, no, because imagine you get before God and you go, well, here's the checklist.
Right.
Because honestly, if we're holding a burden, I don't mean let Him in.
Yeah.
Like, oh, come on home. It means you let it go so you can be face to face. There's no ill will. There's nothing harboring in your heart. The world tells you to keep this running log.
Right.
And that's not of our fault. It's subtle.
This whole elephant checklist you got going on. Well, I remember in 1984 you did this. In 1987 you did this. And I'm like, I don't remember last week.
Yeah.
You know?
And you
like,
let it go. You might not go have coffee with the person every Saturday, but you're like, you know, I forgive this person. I can see him. No ill will.
Let it go.
And that's the thing of truly forgiving someone.
Yeah.
We learn both sides.
Absolutely.
From stuff. But, you know, too many people, they're walking around saying, well, I forgive the person, but they're harboring all this anger.
Absolutely.
And I go, you haven't forgiven anything. And I go, you're holding on to that spirit, which is why you see your life falling apart. People don't get it. They're like, I don't understand why everything's messed up, but I'm so angry.
Right.
I go, well, you said it.
You're holding on to so much of that hate that it actually encompasses every part of your life.
Yeah.
You know, it's that the spokes on a wheel. You know, when you're riding a bicycle and it has the spokes on the wheel, when one spoke breaks, it starts to weaken the rest of the wheel. Now that wheel might be going for a few more miles or even a few more weeks, but guess what? Another spoke's going to wear out, and then another, and then another, and then another, and that's what that hate does to you on the inside. And now you're spokeless.
Absolutely.
Right?
I like it. Look at this.
You like that? And then where are you? You're back in the bottle, or you're doing something stupid that you shouldn't be doing because you let that anger and hate just take you away from the Lord. And it's like, man, you let that go. And there's some times that I'll be like, I'm going to rub this in this person's face because, look, I got to do this and they thought I could never amount to anything. And that's like, it's so bad. I didn't want to do that. But sometimes you just want to be like, and I'm like, darn it.
You get convicted.
Yeah.
So and it's funny because it happens faster. Like he's refining us to where the mistakes we used to make, no. And that whole thing of what the world calls karma, it's not karma. It's called reaping and sowing. Reaping and sowing. That's the actual thing of it. Is that what you put out there, you will get back. You will get back. And again, people think they're on some timeline because some people, they don't see the time frame.
Right.
They think it's non-existent. And that couldn't be further from the truth. You'll notice lately it's happening faster. When people do stuff, they're like, wow, all of a sudden this came back.
Yeah.
It's like, well, that's
instant gratification. Well, guess what? You're also getting instant, sowing.
And when something happens to us, we have a good father to where a parent who loves their children disciplines them.
Absolutely.
If you don't love your kid, do whatever you want. So when correction comes, it's to save us, not to kill us. But the world says, well, when everything's going wrong, when stuff happens, you're cursed. And I go, no. I go, if you're doing the wrong thing and correction comes, it is a blessing.
Right.
Because it's pulling you out of hell.
Exactly.
Whether you know you're running towards the right, what does Proverbs say? There's a path that appears to be right that leads to destruction. Yep. What do you mean it appears to be right? It doesn't appear to be wrong. And so this is when we start saying, oh, wait a minute, I'm not supposed to lean on my understanding.
Right.
There's correction that comes where you start seeing it's his will.
Yes.
To get us to that point of understanding where it's like, Father, your will be done. I think it's supposed to go this way, but if that falls apart, I'm not going to complain.
Right.
Because I realize you know better than me. And then we're surrendering, we're starting to lay stuff down and go, got it.
And then you can't be like, well, I'm mad because it didn't happen my way because you said I was going to do this. Well, you didn't say anything.
Yeah.
You put that out there saying, this is what I want, and you turn your God's desire into your desire, and you try and meld those two together, and that doesn't work either. I know a few people who might do that, and it's like, that's not his will. You're trying to force your will on God.
Correct.
Like, good luck with that.
Well, a lot of people, what they'll do is they'll say, this is my plan, bless it.
Absolutely.
And it's like, no, what's your plan? That's the one that's blessed. My plan's going to explode.
Exactly.
And that's what ends up happening. It's like, oh, it's not my...
Yeah. God, I want this, and this is how it's going to happen, so let's go. Come on, buddy.
And I've made that mistake. I've seen, we'll see step one, and I get a little excited, so I think I know step 5. And you know step 1. Yeah. And you find that out when you try to get to step 2, and you're like, oh, that was the wrong direction. But you start to learn to slow down, to wait on him. And again, it's a test of patience, and it's a refinement of patience.
Well, it's patience and faith. Patience and faith.
Yeah.
Patience and faith.
And that's what it is. That's faith over a course of time.
Exactly.
Is patience.
Exactly. Well, true. I mean,
that's an interesting way of looking at it.
Yeah.
But it's there's so many, and it would really change a person's life for the better. But sometimes we're so stubborn.
Stubborn?
Which is why pride is resisted.
Yes.
We have to be humble at a point where it's,
yeah.
And that's the thing. There's a reason Lucifer fell was because of pride.
Yeah, absolutely.
And that's why God resists the proud, because if you think you know, you're not even going to hear truth.
Yeah.
Until you realize you don't know. When you realize you don't know, then all of a sudden you're open.
Yeah.
Right? It's like people say, well, I don't believe in demons. Till you see one.
Right.
Then there go the peanuts off your Cracker Jacks, and you're like, what happened?
Well, a lot of people mistake feeling for fact. Yeah. It's funny because my wife and I discuss different things, and I'm always like, honey, feelings aren't facts. You're allowed to have feelings, so you respond to things. Everybody has, emotions and feelings. But that's not fact. That's not truth. So let's take a step back and let's actually look at what actually happened and what it is. Your definition might not have been my definition. Obviously, we were communicating incorrectly.
Yeah.
Or my definition of a word, like words have multiple definitions in the English language. It's a very tricky language, especially when men and women communicate, because number one, it's, are you communicating to actually communicate? Are you trying to get something across, and are you trying to listen to someone, or are you listening to respond rather than listening to understand? And so you might choose a word, and I know my definition of it, and she might not know my definition. She has her own definition of that word because it's multiple definitions, and then an argument ensues. And then depending on how you react in that situation is, okay, now I'm upset because you think I said something that I didn't, and you're thinking the worst of me, and well, you said this about me. I'm like, but that's not what I meant, but that's what you said, but this word means this, but I thought it meant this, and it's like, whoa, slow down.
Yeah.
Okay, we had a misunderstanding. Okay, this is my understanding of the word, this is the definition I have for it, and that's the definition you have for it, and now we can talk. So, and that's just, if husbands and wives do that, strangers and social media strangers, and it's like, politicians.
Imagine that.
Imagine that.
But that's a good thing especially with with couples and relationships and marriages is that too often what happens is there's an issue. And what most people don't do, they don't take it to each other. They don't take it to the Lord.
Yes.
They take it to
Facebook friends.
They take it to someone else. And I go, that's the problem. I go,
totally.
You take it to the Lord and then take it to the source.
individual.
Stop going to someone else, because again, you start seeing, now you're getting other people's perception based on your perception. And it blows up into something where, again, when you address something early, it's like, well, it's completely blown out of proportion.
Exactly.
And so many things could be avoided, but people are so
proper
quick.
communication.
Yes,
It's amazing.
They're so quick to react based on their interpretation and their feelings rather than understanding.
Exactly.
And since communication is broken down so much in society because people are no longer doing this, it's called speaking.
Yes. Well, and then, of course, with your significant other, it's always the need to sit down and look each other in the eye and say, this is what's going on, this is how I feel. And a lot of times, feelings come up because of traumatic things that happened in the past, too. And some of those are hard to get over. You got to do a lot of praying, lean into Jesus a lot about stuff. And it takes time. There's no quick answer. There's no quick fix. There's no hitting the lottery of faith or hitting the lottery of emotion or hitting the lottery of life. I mean, there's so much that goes on in any given day. So it's just staying positive and being each other's cheerleader too. When you're talking about relationships and stuff like that, like your counterpart is supposed to be your best friend. You're supposed to confide in them. You're supposed to be able to help each other. And if I'm having a bad day or if I'm being rough, I should be able to come to my spouse and be like, I'm struggling today. It's really hard for me. It's being a leader in this moment is difficult. I need you to shoulder that burden, which is why God made man and woman. God made the woman to be man's helper. You're supposed to actually honor and value their opinion. You're not supposed to dominate over them.
It's a compliment.
It is.
If people, and here's the thing that, again, if our foundation is not in Christ, everything else that you build on is going to be faulty anyway. You're building on a faulty foundation. It's not about Him. And people go, what do you mean by that? I go, well, look at a relationship.
Right.
When you look at a marriage and you truly understand it, that is a gift from God.
Totally.
See, people it's going to mess someone up and be like, what do you mean? Because God knows who you're supposed to be with. We think we do.
Yes.
We've all made those mistakes. And then you're saying, you know what, Lord?
Hundreds of
show me. Right? It's like, show me. And then you start to see that there's a complementary part to you.
Yes.
And it's like, well, is this person going to? Yeah, because God put you together.
Right.
Tinder didn't put you together. No. God did. And so we start to look back.
Those apps aren't it. That's
because we've been taught all this stuff. And we say, well, I've had all these bad relationships because you were picking.
Right.
When I realized that, I go, wait a minute, what now? It's like the Lord has someone for me, and then you say, well, now wait a minute, because we let Him into certain parts of our life,
right?
And then the other parts we're like, I got this. It's like I don't got this.
Yeah.
When you realize that in all aspects of your life, when you invite Him in, He has the best plan.
Exactly.
And especially with the person you're supposed to be with. Yeah. I get it. It completely flips the world upside down on what people have been taught.
Yeah.
But then these questions, they get answered very quickly because you're not worried. It becomes, let's say, easy.
Yeah.
Not to say you're not going to have
you'll
mistakes,
still have complications and miscommunications.
But you start to see, this is the person I'm supposed to be with, and it's a gift, right? The person who finds a wife, it's a treasure. But people don't see that because people are replaceable. No, they're not.
Yeah.
The way society's created.
I'll get married. If it doesn't work out, I'll get divorced. Quickly, we're in Nevada. I can just, it's no fault state, whatever.
Yeah. And we miss it, and that's why you have a lot of things now. Where what relationship?
Right.
It's Netflix and chill. That's not a relationship.
Yeah.
And that's, you see how it's degraded down to where God puts stuff there to protect us, whether people understand that or not, because they look at how it limits them.
Yeah.
Well, I can't do this, but you don't understand the bigger picture.
Yeah.
You're thinking it's, I'm not going to have any fun. Now, He's protecting you from something you don't believe in.
Exactly.
And that's that when people start to learn and you have that foundation, that cornerstone that you're building on, you go, well, now it's all coming together. Now we have a solid building.
Right.
And that's the difference.
And what's your interpretation of fun? I mean, everybody's got their thing. Your fun is of the worldly. Your fun is of, the satisfaction and this and that and the gratifications and blah, blah, blah. I mean, fun for me is raising my kids and, making disciples and going out there and changing lives and giving people hope and leading them back. And then a buddy of mine just reached out. He's been struggling for years, and he's just like, man, I'm sorry, I haven't been a good friend to you, and blah blah blah. I'm like, brother, I'm always here. You don't have to apologize to me. You had your own struggles. I'm here to talk with you. We had a distance for a bit, but I didn't go anywhere. I'm right here, brother. Come with me. As a matter of fact, why don't you pick up this book and let's start reading together? Let's start text him, and then you send him some little motivational videos like Toby Mac or Matthew has, and the songs that I just believe in, and the time is now, and just all these things that just resonate in my soul when I hear them, and it's just because he's a musician, he likes to sing and stuff like that. He's big into like different types of country music, which I like, some country music too, but the Christian rock for me is just, I know, and everybody's like, oh, it's an oxymoron. It's no, man, this stuff stirs your soul and the meanings, and it's just like this is it, and the verses that come out of the Bible, and then you go, look, like, oh, I remember that one. Yeah. That was over here from Ephesians, or this one's from Matthew, or this one's from Mark, and then you get excited when you're reading and you're studying your scriptures, and like, that's the song. Yeah. Oh my gosh, it's right here. Who knew that this was a songbook? Yeah.
I'm telling you, we're a lot of fun at barbecues. Bring us out.
Oh yeah.
But again, people's conception of fun because they're living in the pleasure dome.
Exactly.
And it's when there's a void. Mm-hmm. Even with these things, it's hollow. Yeah. It's not lasting. That's in between.
It's superficial.
Yes.
It's totally
joy lasts. Mm-hmm. Immediate, instant gratification does not. And that's why the world teaches you that. Why? Because you have to keep on buying it.
Yeah.
Keep on trying to fill it because it's a
return customer. That's all you are.
Yeah.
Return customer.
So Jesus, it's like, no, I'm never ending, right?
Yeah, you
life-giving water.
It doesn't. It's the living water is.
And it's free.
Wow.
Imagine
is it really?
That. Yes.
I don't have to pay $39.95 for the water.
No. And why do people pay for water? That's a whole different conversation. We'll get into that later. But I mean, that's the thing is that you tell people because then they see your life. Because there are people that are walking around and they're like, I got the joy of the Lord. I'm like, well, do you? Because we're representatives of the kingdom.
Exactly.
And it's not just what we say. Mm-hmm. It's our life. That coming together,
right.
And too often people they're saying one thing, and then people are. It's so funny when people look.
The Pharisaical. It's do as I say, not as I do. Go over here and preach this. Oh, you got to lower your carbon footprint. I got to fly around the world on my private jet and yacht, telling people to lower the carbon footprint. You're making $20,000 a year, but you're emitting too much. But I'm going to do whatever I want and have 5,000. It's like, how does that even make sense?
And people, again, when people take Scripture to context. My favorite is, the Lord wants you to have money. Well, when you understand that it's a tool,
yes.
Because my favorite is, what is it, 6 Timothy? Mm-hmm. I love that one. People, you don't hear that read a lot in church.
Right.
Where it's like, you've come into this world with nothing, you'll surely leave with nothing. Money is the root of all evil.
Right.
And so what it ends up happening is, because I remember he purged me when he's like, quit. I'm paraphrasing what he said, but quit.
Right.
And I go, what now? And I go, well, how am I supposed to survive? And he goes, you have savings. Mm-hmm. Now, for people that go, that doesn't make any sense, I go, yes, it does. Mm-hmm. Because 2 things. Number one, he said, if you're relying on money, you're not relying on me.
Right.
If that's your comfort, it's not me. That's your idol. When people want to believe that hurts someone.
Yeah.
And the other thing is this. When you see it as a tool, you can be trusted with it.
Absolutely.
Then you're like, here, there you go. Endless supply, now go help.
Right.
Right. We're not here to sit there and start building things for us. It's like, well, I'm going to build a Lamborghini and there's 50 people starving. Because you can't, there's something in your heart. That's why he'll give you what you want, because your heart condition will change.
Exactly.
And it matches his will. Because people misquote that all the time. Well, my heart's will is a castle.
Right.
Well, your heart hasn't changed, and
right.
That's the difference. Because
exactly.
you truly start to understand what you used to look for.
Yeah.
That's no longer there. You truly are a new creature in Christ. And that's that born again. When people think that's some kind of movement, I go, no. We're born again in the Spirit.
Exactly.
And people ask that a lot.
It's a movement of the Spirit. It's a movement of the heart. It's because, what he did with Pharaoh. He hardened his heart because Pharaoh wouldn't listen. I know that story very well, being born and raised Jewish. Hey, we all saw the movie Prince of Egypt, the cartoon they did, and it's like he hardened Pharaoh's heart for a reason.
Yes.
Because he just wouldn't do it. And then with the Pharisaicals and the false prophets and everybody's thinking, when they see that, like, oh, that's probably just the televangelist, or oh, it's this or it's that. False prophets show up in many different forms.
Yes. All the false prophets.
You could have false prophets at your school. You could have false prophets at your job. You can have false prophets in government. Not saying anything about anybody, but you know what I mean? It's like it's everywhere.
Yes. There's a lot.
You gotta open your eyes to that.
Same thing with Antichrist. That's a false way of salvation. People, they take these words out of context, not realizing is that you've never led your own steps.
Right.
we're either being led by the Lord or of Lucifer. Now that's hard for people. People are like, well, no, I think myself. Right. Who gave you those thoughts? Inspiration means in spirit.
Well, and science told me that blah, blah, blah. But there's this gap that they can't fill in, but they're just going to say it's something that was missing that we haven't found yet.
Well, I like that because everything is supposed to be factual in science, yet they teach the Big Bang Theory.
Right.
Isn't that a theory? That's weird.
Yes, it's called. It doesn't say the Big Bang fact. It says Big Bang.
And I'm not putting down science. Science is there to help us understand our Father.
Right.
Not try to say we can explain. Because the moment we think we know something, God does this, and we say, look how little we know. I love it. That's why the books keep on changing.
Yeah.
As much as we figured out, it's like, we don't know this.
Right.
And so it's exciting. But, some people, again, because it's a way of puffing ourselves up, saying, look what I've done. We're a bunch of children in a room playing with blocks that God put here.
Yeah.
And look what I've done. Look at
the Tower of Babel I created,
That's it. It's just a new Tower of Babel. And that's the disturbing part because that's pride.
Yeah.
When we think that we figured it out, that's when it's like, no, that's the problem because you're going to see how little we know. As smart as I thought I was, and the world rewarded me for, in a blink of an eye, I saw how foolish I was, how little I knew.
Right.
What I thought my life was about was meaningless.
Yeah.
To that point, because up to that point, it didn't matter what I had done, I was on my way to hell.
Yep.
And to see that in the blink of an eye, you go, what?
Yeah.
And so that's a wake-up call.
It is.
Where people go, ooh.
Yeah.
What else do you have for the young ones out there? What else would you like to share before we head out of here?
Well, wow. I mean, there's so much. I mean, it's what wouldn't I like to share? The values, love, generosity. The biggest thing is get involved. Get involved with your community. So many of these keyboard warriors, want to say that well, you're not doing enough. You're not doing enough. It's like I see you on Facebook every day because I do a little bit for marketing and stuff like that. But it's like these people that are talking the talk every day. It's like you don't just talk the talk. You got to walk the walk. You got to be the example. You can't just say it. You got to do it. I'm usually a man of little. Hard to believe I'm a man of little words, but of more action. So when people look at the things that I do, they're like, "Wow, you do this, you do that, you do that." They're like, "How do you do all that?" I'm like, "Jesus." Yeah. He wants me to be out there and do stuff with the people. I mean, I'm not saying Jesus is sending me out to the people because he told me to. No, I'm doing it because I got that feeling from him. Yeah. And I love communicating with people, and I love especially our veteran community. I can't do enough in that community because I know everything that I've been through. So I got injured originally in 2002 before I went to Iraq, and then injuries in Iraq, and then later. So I mean, I'm 45, and I've been dealing with these issues for over 16 years now. And when I tell people my story and some of my injuries, they're like, "How do you even function? You walk and talk like you're normal." I'm like, "Whoo, I'm far from normal. Don't ever use that one against me." Yeah. But it's like it's because of the power that I have in faith. I mean, before it was all ego, pushing myself through it. Yeah. And there's a difference. Before I was driven because I'm going to show everybody that I don't feel any pain and I'm the toughest guy around here and I'm Marine Corps and I was with Recon and they're the biggest and the baddest. We're tip of the spear and blah blah blah. And before it was just all alpha male ego, and now it's all Jesus. It's all feeling. It's all now. I'm just proud to get up and be able to share my experiences to help someone. I don't, Jesus has helped me. I don't need your help. Yeah. I don't need you to look at me with pity and say, "Wow, I feel so bad for you." No, I don't need that. I'm exactly where God wants me to be right now. I went through everything I did to do everything that I'm doing, to reach out into people's lives and help them. I feel better about myself when I'm helping someone else.
Absolutely.
Because if I'm doing it for myself, I feel guilty. Because I'm like, it's not about me. Yeah. I mean, look, would I like to own a home? That'd be great. Would I like to have all my vehicles paid off? Sure. But guess what? It's not what I focus on. I focus on loving and caring for my family and my community. And, I do enjoy educating people every once in a while on the Constitution and our rights and stuff like that. But all in all, I love educating people on the life that you get with Jesus. Yes. You have your rights and we have laws, but there's a greater law and there's a greater life, and it's with Jesus, and it's being in your community and just going and doing. Yes. The volunteer work is just I'm so passionate about it. I just love it. And it's not about to get my name on the wall. It's not to get another certificate or anything like that. That people recognize me when they want to recognize me. It's not about me. It's like, thank you. And like, don't thank me, thank Jesus. Yeah. I can't do it without him.
Yeah. This is a gift. Our life is a gift.
Exactly.
Hence present.
It is.
And it's not a cliche. You actually see it. Don't live in the past. Don't worry about the future. Live for now, because then stuff will start to be clear and you'll wake up.
Where people get in their head. And there's a good saying that I learned a long time ago that I love so much. You can't drive through life looking in the rearview mirror. Mm. Yeah. And my papa always says, don't steer into the ditch. When you're focusing on something negative and you're looking for something, you're going to find it. I guarantee you. Think about a car that you want. Like Corvettes are my favorite cars. Whenever I'm thinking about Corvettes, I'm on the road, guess what I see? A Corvette. I'm like, everybody's got a Corvette except me. Because you're steering into that negativity and you're getting into that subconscious, and then you're looking for it. Or it's like, well, like, you know, in relationships, like, oh, he might be cheating on me, or oh, she might be cheating on me. And then you're looking for signs and looking for signs and looking for signs. You're waiting and you're waiting and you're waiting. And finally something happens. You're like, aha! Yeah, it's been a week, but I knew it. I told you this. And it's like this hidden contract that we have with other people in relationships because we're waiting for them to do something wrong without them knowing that they did it wrong because we never told them what to do or what not to do. And then we're like, aha, you're this. And it's like, you didn't tell me about anything. How am I supposed to know that was going to... You should have known. What?
Yeah, I know. We have these unrealistic expectations of people. In reality, when you don't do that and you love and not expect anything from
anything in return,
then it's like, oh,
yeah.
Well, that's easy. Yeah. That's one of the dynamics that seems to change in relationships when people get married. All of a sudden, there's a contract.
Yeah.
Well, you're supposed to do this. No. Go back to when you were courting each other.
Right.
Use that throughout the marriage, and you're like, well, this is great.
Yeah, and the whole thing's like 50-50. No, the whole thing is 100, 0. Yeah. Because you give 100 and expect nothing back.
Yeah. It's your intent, not their response.
Exactly.
And if people do that, if you're doing something that's not unconditional, the world doesn't understand unconditional love. They understand conditional like.
Right.
And that's what's being taught. And that's what they're like, well, I like you, but...
Well, infatuation or lust. And it's like, as long as you hit these little wickets and, you know, well, if you gain 10 pounds, I don't think I can love you anymore. Like, what?
Yeah.
What does that have to do with this?
Of course.
You know, it's all here. It's the love. It's the spirit. It's the energy, you know.
How can people get a hold of you?
How can people get a hold of me?
Yeah, I don't want to get a hold of you. Talk to them. You're doing stuff with the community. You're counseling people, stuff like this. You're working with charities.
Well, it's funny. You can find me on Facebook.
Find him on Facebook.
Jason Brooks. I mean, I put my cell phone out there. I don't care. People call me all the time. But I mean, I'm just involved in the community. I mean, this Saturday is a Tough Enough event.
Okay.
You know, Jeff Myers and his Tough Enough amateur MMA is Pack the Mac. So it's open for everybody. Free tickets there if you're in the Vegas area. Okay. I'll actually be there. I'll be on the concourse doing some stuff with the Counterterrorism Training School that I do some things for, work with. And then next weekend, the 7th, we are doing, I Got Your Six Foundation is doing a barbecue for the veteran community over at Craig Ranch Park.
Okay.
And of course, so I got a buddy coming to town who's going to be playing his guitar and singing for us, and there's going to be, you know, resources for veterans and things like that. But all you got to do is look for the beard out in town.
Look for the beard.
You might see me on my Harley, which is why
I got some tats. You got some tats. Are these new?
These two are new. Faith and Honor. My buddy Jesse James over at All In Tattoo did them for me, and then I've got my buddy's wife did Brotherhood and Loyalty. Some of my brothers that I ride with, you know, Apache, Nana, you know, my friends and stuff. So yeah, we do weird stuff.
That's all right.
I'm a little all over the place.
Aren't we all?
I can't be in a box.
We're a weird people. We're a weird people.
Yeah, and then of course, my CRI shirt. You know, and the Counterterrorism Training School. You know, I've been on a couple other shows and talking about the local Counterterrorism Training School. Been in business for 18 years. They've been here for 16, and we train everybody from basic CCW courses through. Hand-to-hand combat, Krav Maga, which is based off of Krav Maga, because the owner's an IDF Spec Ops officer and stuff like that. You might know Jerome Benvenisti, I don't know if you've heard about him. Yeah. But yeah, so I mean, we do a lot of different things over there as well. Counterterrorism training, advanced bodyguard training.
Nice.
So if you want to come over to the Counterterrorism School, you can check me out over there.
See, you got all these different options. You beard, counterterrorism, it's all over the place.
Motorcades, with the Marines over at the Leatherneck Club. It's always a great place. Ghost over there is a good buddy, and so you never know. You see me around.
You'll find him.
Yeah.
Jason, thanks so much for your blessing.
Brother Lance,
all the stuff you're doing.
And
guys,
God bless you on your trip to the Philippines.
Oh, he brought it up.
Yeah. His trip to the Philippines. Yes. I told you I've got friends that are from there. Anything happens, you give me a call, and I can reach out to you.
I appreciate it.
I've got a global reach, brother.
See, look at that. See, we all have the same. Our Father, I'm telling you.
Not only do we have Jesus, we got the prayer tour, but I've got the physical aspects.
I love how he works. Guys, thank you so much for tuning in. We'll see you next time on Saved by Grace. Have a great week. God bless you.